What are you crazy?
All right, well, right now, tens of thousands of people are trying to ban some breeds of dogs. And the plan mostly targets pit bulls because they get a bad rap. But do people really need to be afraid of these bully breeds? Well, next we're talking to the pit bull guru about why banning breeds is a bad idea and how to train any dog to be friendly. So it's a topic you may or may not have heard about, but many, including the White House, have spoken out against it. Now, we're talking about breed-specific legislation, and here to explain what it is and why it's controversial is the pit bull guru himself, Drayton Michaels. Drayton, thanks for being on the show and bringing Silas.
Thanks for having me.
Silas, how are you, buddy? All right, so for people who don't know what we're talking about here, talk about breed-specific legislation.
Breed-specific legislation, or BSL as it's called, is basically a rule or laws that are put together by a city or municipality or even a state where they ban certain types of dogs. It started with pit bulls back about 30 years ago, and it since now includes Rottweilers, Dobermans, basically any type or style of a dog that people don't like or they want to ban, they can ban.
Now, what's your big issue with this type of legislation?
Well, it doesn't address the problem that everybody's concerned about, which is either some sort of fatalities or dog bites, and it costs a lot of money and you don't get anything for it. In other words, there's a lot of dogs being incarcerated or picked up and they're being euthanized, but there's no education in the community. So for a fraction of the cost that BSL costs, you could educate your community very effectively.
Okay, and you guys got a big boost. I'm going to read this. It was in response to a petition to ban the ownership of certain dogs. Here's what the White House said. We don't support breed-specific legislation. Research shows that bans on certain types of dogs are largely ineffective and often a waste of public resources. Now, we do report on a few stories where, pit bulls or other large breeds have attacked Presa Canarios, those types of things. But, I mean, the statistics, are they really that high and high enough for people who want to ban these dogs?
They're actually not high. There's roughly 4.5 million dog bites reported to emergency rooms every year. That's what the CDC says. And if you look at it, there's only 30 fatalities out of 77 million dogs and 300 million humans. So, excuse me, there's not a big concern in terms of fatalities. I mean, any fatality is a concern, but the numbers don't add up to the emotion. And that's the thing, is that BSL is panic policy. It's done where, people are just using their emotions and they're scared. They're not using logic and common sense and reason. And if you look at it from that standpoint of logic, common sense, and reason, you'll see that dogs are a safe risk, very safe.
And talk about why pit bulls get such a bad rap.
Well,
with
sadly,
and bitings.
Yeah, sadly, the media is a big problem, and a story like this is great because now we can show people that, look, the White House, the CDC, when they look at dogs, when they look at pit bulls, when they look at culture, they look at it with logic and common sense and math. And what I've tried to do with the media is to educate everybody that I talk to in the media every step of the way and let them know that dogs are innocent. There's a human criteria for these incidents, and that's what we need to look at. Much like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, we need to start looking at incidents that concern people with more of an educational slant.
Now, what can owners of dogs do to prevent these types of incidents, people getting bitten or mauled?
Well, the first thing is, if you have a dog that has some issues, is to seek out legitimate, humanely based training and behavior modification so you can give your dog help that way. And the other thing is to just make sure that you have adequate fencing and that you always make the safest decision for your dog, because if you do that, you'll make the smartest decision. And a lot of times what happens is people are just really not making safe or smart decisions. Kids left unsupervised, dogs being chained or housed. A lot of times these incidents include dogs that have been used as resident dogs, so they're used for breeding and guarding. They're not companion animals. They're just there to serve a purpose for the people and their nefarious
Let's talk about the
lifestyle.
people who don't have dogs. What can they do to avoid those types of situations? What do they do wrong?
Well, first of all, stay away from dogs that you don't know. It may seem a little extreme, but even walking close to a dog on the street, you don't know anything about that dog, so it might be a good idea to just take a few feet to the left or right to avoid it. And as far as dog owners go, you can do a great service by practicing some etiquette on the streets. And again, never pet a dog or approach a dog that you don't know.
Got it.
That's a big one.
All right, and for more on the Pit Bull Guru and Urban Dawgs, you can log on to pix11.com and we will link you up to his site, and you'll probably get that DVD as well. Thanks for being with us.
You got it. Thanks for doing it.
Silas, you too. All right, let's turn it over to weather. Linda Church.
This morning's